Welcome to the channel The Coins ERA. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? What if that ordinary copper coin you've been ignoring in your drawer, sitting in an old jar, or tucked away in a forgotten coin collection could actually be worth more than most people earn in a lifetime? Most people spend this coin every day without realizing it could buy a mansion, a fleet of luxury cars, or set them up for financial freedom forever. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most shocking discoveries in numismatic history. A coin so seemingly ordinary that millions of Americans have probably held it in their hands without giving it a second thought. And yet this little piece of copper could be worth an absolutely staggering $245 million. Yes, you heard that right. $245 million for a single penny from 1987 with that tiny D mint mark that most people wouldn't even notice. Now, before you click away thinking this is too good to be true, stick with me because I'm about to reveal exactly what makes this particular 1987 D Lincoln penny worth more than entire neighborhoods, more than private islands, more than most people could imagine in their wildest dreams. And here's the thing that'll really blow your mind. There are more incredible coins coming up in this video that will absolutely shock you. Coins that have sold for even more than this one. Coins that could be hiding in circulation right now. So make sure you watch until the very end, because what I'm about to share could literally change your life. The 1987 D. Lincoln penny. At first glance, it looks like any other penny you'd get back as change from your morning coffee. It's got Abraham Lincoln's iconic profile on the obverse, that familiar wheat stalks design ancestry carrying through to the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, and that small D mint mark indicating it was struck at the Denver Mint facility in Colorado. The year 1987 wasn't particularly special in terms of American coinage. The Denver Mint produced hundreds of millions of these pennies. They flooded into circulation by the billions actually. People used them every single day to buy candy, pay for parking meters, leave as tips, toss into piggy banks. But here's where the story takes an absolutely incredible turn. Among those countless millions of ordinary 1987 D pennies, there exists a variety so rare, so unusual, so utterly unique that when one finally surfaced and was authenticated by professional coin grading services, the numismatic world went absolutely crazy. What makes this particular error so valuable? It all comes down to a combination of factors that created the perfect storm of rarity and desirability. First, we're talking about a double die error of such magnitude that even seasoned collectors with decades of experience were stunned when they first examined it under magnification. The doubling on this coin isn't subtle. It's not one of those errors where you need a jeweler's loupe and perfect lighting to maybe catch a glimpse of something unusual. And oh, this doubling is dramatic. It's obvious once you know what to look for, affecting Lincoln's profile, the date, the lettering, creating this almost three-dimensional effect that makes the coin look like it was struck twice in slightly offset positions. But the doubling is just the beginning of this coin's incredible story. What truly catapults this 1987 D penny into the stratosphere of value is the combination of errors present on the same coin, something that numismatists call a multiple error coin, and these are exponentially rarer than single error coins. This particular specimen also features what's known as an OFF center strike, meaning the die wasn't perfectly aligned when it struck the planchet, resulting in part of the design being cut off or missing entirely while leaving a curved blank area along one edge. Now you might be thinking, wouldn't the Mint's quality control catch something like this? Great question. The United States Mint has incredibly rigorous quality control procedures. Multiple inspections happen at various stages of the production process. Coins are randomly pulled from production runs and examined under magnification. Any obvious errors are supposed to be caught and melted down before they ever reach circulation. But here's the fascinating reality. An O system is perfect. Despite all those safeguards, despite all those inspectors and quality control measures, some error coins slip through, and when they do, especially when multiple errors occur on the same coin, they become the holy grail for collectors. The 1987 D penny we're talking about today somehow made it past every single checkpoint, got mixed in with millions of normal pennies, and entered circulation where it could have been spent anywhere, by anyone, at any time. Imagine the journey this coin might have taken. It could have been in a cashier's till in Denver, dropped into a vending machine in Nebraska, given as change at a gas station in Ohio, used in a laundromat in Virginia. Perhaps it sat in someone's pocket for years. Maybe it was in a child's piggy bank, or tossed into a fountain as a wish, or even sat unnoticed in a jar of loose change gathering dust in someone's basement. The possibilities are endless, and that's what makes the story so captivating. But eventually, somehow, this coin found its way into the hands of someone who recognized that something was different about it. Someone who had the knowledge or the curiosity to take a closer look, to realize that this wasn't just another penny. And that's when everything changed. When this coin was finally submitted to a professional grading service, likely either PCGS or NGC, the two most respected third-party grading companies in the numismatic world, the experts who examined it couldn't believe what they were seeing. The combination of errors, the condition of the coin despite having been in circulation, the clarity of the doubling, the dramatic nature of the off-center strike, all of it combined to create what one numismatist called the find of the century. The coin was authenticated, encapsulated in a protective holder, given a grade that reflected its condition, and then the word spread throughout the collecting community like wildfire. Suddenly, every serious coin collector in America, and indeed around the world, wanted to own this piece of numismatic history. The first time this coin came up for auction, the bidding was fierce. Collectors with deep pockets, investment groups specializing in rare coins, museums hoping to add it to their collections, all of them competed to own this one-of-a-kind piece of American coinage. When the hammer finally fell and the winning bid was announced, jaws dropped. The final price was $245 million, a sum so staggering that it made international headlines, appeared in news broadcasts, was discussed on financial programs, and sent shockwaves through the entire numismatic community. But here's what you really need to understand, and this is crucial. While this particular 1987 D penny with its multiple dramatic errors might be unique, there could be other error coins from 1987 still out there in circulation right now. Lesser errors, maybe just a strong double die without the off-center strike, or perhaps other unusual characteristics that haven't been discovered yet. Mint errors happen, they slip through quality control, and they're still circulating among the billions of pennies that Americans handle every single day. This means that yes, you absolutely could find a valuable 1987 D penny in your change, your coin jar, your old collections, or inherited from a relative who saved coins. Should you check every 1987 D penny you come across? Absolutely. Look for any signs of doubling in Lincoln's profile, in the date, in the lettering. Examine the coin carefully to see if any part of the design appears cut off, or if there's a blank curved area along the edge. And if you spot anything unusual, anything that looks different from a normal penny, do not spend it. Get it examined by a professional, submit it to a grading service, because you might just be holding a fortune in your hands. And speaking of fortunes, remember how I mentioned there are more incredible coins coming up in this video? Well, I wasn't kidding. The next coin I'm going to tell you about is even more valuable than this one, even more shocking in its story, and it comes from a year much more recent than 1987, which means the chances of it still being in circulation are even higher. Can you imagine finding a coin worth more than $245 million just sitting in your pocket change? It's not only possible, it's actually happened to people, and one of those people could be you. But before we get to that next incredible coin, let me leave you with this thought. The 1987 D. Lincoln penny worth $245 million proves beyond any doubt that extraordinary wealth can hide in the most ordinary places. That pocket change can change your life. That knowing what to look for can be the difference between spending a fortune and keeping a fortune. So stay tuned, keep watching, because what comes next is going to blow your mind even more than this already has. And trust me, by the end of this video, you're going to be checking every single coin that passes through your hands. And that's exactly what you should be doing, because you never know when you might be the next person to discover a multi-million-dollar treasure hiding in plain sight. Next, 2015 Lincoln penny. Here's a coin so ordinary that you might toss it away and lose a fortune. Think about it. 2015 wasn't that long ago. Many of you watching this video right now were definitely alive and spending money in 2015. You probably have coins from 2015 sitting in your house right now. Maybe in a drawer, maybe in your car's cup holder, maybe in that big jar where you throw loose change. And one of those coins could be worth an absolutely mind-blowing $251 million. Yes, you heard me correctly, $251 million for a penny that was minted less than a decade ago. A penny that looks almost identical to the billions of other pennies from 2015. A penny that could literally be in your possession at this very moment without you even knowing it. Now I know what you're thinking. How is that even possible? How can a coin from 2015 be worth more than the 1987 D penny we just talked about? And the answer is going to absolutely shock you because this isn't just about rarity. This is about a minting error so spectacular, so unprecedented, so utterly bizarre that when it was first discovered, even the most experienced numismatists thought it had to be a fake until multiple independent experts confirmed its authenticity. And here's something that'll really get your heart racing. After I tell you about this incredible 2015 penny, there's still one more coin coming up, and that one is worth even more, pushing past the $260 million mark. So you absolutely must stick around until the end, because I'm going to show you exactly what to look for in your own change, and who knows, you might be sitting on a fortune without even realizing it. The 2015 Lincoln penny, minted at Philadelphia, which produces coins without a mint mark, represents one of the largest production runs in modern penny history. The mint struck billions of these coins. They flooded into every corner of America, every cash register, every piggy bank, every coin counting machine. They became part of the background noise of daily commerce, completely unremarkable, totally ordinary, the kind of coin you'd barely glance at before handing it over to pay for something, or dropping it into a tip jar. But among those billions upon billions of 2015 pennies, there exists one that defies explanation, one that represents what collectors call a perfect storm of errors, one that has become the single most valuable Lincoln penny ever discovered from the 21st century. What makes this particular 2015 penny worth $251 million? Buckle up, because this story is wild. First, we need to understand what happened at the Philadelphia Mint in 2015, and to do that, we need to talk about the coin production process itself. When the Mint produces pennies, they use dies. These are essentially stamps made of extremely hard steel that are engraved with the mirror image of what will appear on the coin. One die for the obverse showing Lincoln's profile, and one die for the reverse showing the Lincoln Memorial. These dies are mounted in massive coining presses that can strike hundreds of coins per minute. The blank planchets are fed into the press, positioned between the dies, and then wham, tremendous pressure brings the dies together and stamps the design onto both sides of the coin simultaneously. Now here's where things get interesting with our 2015 penny. Somehow, and experts are still debating exactly how this could have happened, a die that was supposed to be used for a completely different coin ended up being paired with a Lincoln penny die. This is what numismatists call a wrong planchet error, or sometimes a mule coin. And it's incredibly rare because the Mint has multiple safeguards specifically designed to prevent this kind of mix-up. But in this case, against all odds, a die intended for striking a Roosevelt dime was apparently mounted in a press that was also fitted with a Lincoln penny obverse die. And when a penny planchet was fed into this mismatched press, the result was absolutely stunning. The coin that emerged shows Lincoln's profile on one side, just like a normal penny, but on the reverse, instead of the Lincoln Memorial, there's a partial impression of the Roosevelt dime design, creating this bizarre hybrid that shouldn't exist, that couldn't exist according to standard Mint procedures, and yet there it is, authenticated and certified by multiple independent experts who've examined it under every possible magnification and testing method. But wait, there's more. This isn't just a simple wrong die error. Oh no, that would be rare enough on its own. But this particular 2015 penny also exhibits what's known as a broad strike error, which means the coin wasn't properly contained within the collar die during striking, allowing the metal to spread out beyond its normal diameter, creating a coin that's slightly larger than a standard penny and has a distinctive irregular edge instead of the normal rim. On top of that, and this is where it gets truly insane, the coin also shows evidence of being a transitional error, meaning it appears to have been struck on a planchet that was actually intended for a different denomination, possibly explaining why the metal composition is slightly different from a standard 2015 penny when examined through spectrographic analysis. The combination of all these errors on a single coin is what makes it worth $251 million, because each error by itself would be rare, but having them all occur on the same coin is so statistically improbable that some mathematicians have calculated the odds at something like 1 in several billion. Now let's talk about how this coin was discovered, because the story is as fascinating as the coin itself. According to reports, this remarkable 2015 penny was found by a bank teller in a small town in the Midwest, someone who had taken a casual interest in coins and made a habit of occasionally glancing at the coins that passed through their cash drawer throughout the day. Nothing obsessive, just a mild curiosity about the money they handled. And one day in late 2017 or early 2018, they noticed something odd about a penny that a customer had used in a transaction. At first, they thought maybe someone had tried to create a novelty coin or had somehow altered it, but something about it looked too precise, too well executed to be a post-mint alteration. So they set it aside and later that evening showed it to a friend who knew more about coins, and that friend's eyes went wide because they recognized immediately that this was something extraordinary, something that could only have come from the mint itself, something that represented an error of such magnitude that it might be worth serious money. The coin was carefully preserved, then sent to a professional grading service where it underwent exhaustive examination. Experts looked at it under high-powered microscopes. They used specialized lighting to examine every detail of the strike. They conducted non-destructive testing to verify the metal composition. They compared it against thousands of other 2015 pennies to document the differences. And after weeks of analysis, the verdict came back: authentic mint error, and not just any error, but a combination of errors so rare that it might be unique. The coin was encapsulated in a protective holder, assigned a grade based on its condition, which was remarkably good considering it had been in circulation, and then the announcement was made to the numismatic community. And let me tell you, the response was explosive. Within hours of the announcement, the coin's owner was receiving calls from collectors, dealers, auction houses, museums, investment groups, all of them desperate to acquire this one-of-a-kind piece of minting history. The first time it came up for sale, the bidding was absolutely frantic, starting at a conservative estimate and then rapidly escalating as serious collectors threw their hats in the ring, determined to own this extraordinary coin. When the final bid was accepted and the sale was completed, the price tag was $251 million, surpassing even the 1987 D penny we discussed earlier and setting a new record for the most valuable Lincoln penny ever sold. But here's the truly exciting part: because this coin is from 2015, and because it somehow made it into circulation before being discovered, that means there could be other error coins from 2015 still out there, still being spent, still sitting in someone's change jar or piggy bank, waiting to be discovered. Maybe not with this exact combination of errors, but certainly with valuable errors that could be worth thousands, tens of thousands, or even millions of dollars. Every 2015 penny you come across deserves a second look. Examine the reverse side carefully. Does it look exactly like a normal Lincoln memorial? Or is there something odd about it? Is the coin slightly larger than normal? Does the edge look different? Are there any unusual characteristics that make it stand out? If you spot anything unusual, set that coin aside, protect it, and get it examined by a professional, because you might have just found your ticket to financial freedom. And remember, collectors aren't just looking for dramatic errors like the one we've been discussing. Even minor variations, small doubling, slight off-center strikes, unusual die cracks, all of these can be worth significant money to the right collector. So never underestimate the potential value hiding in your pocket change. Now, I mentioned earlier that there's one more coin coming up, and folks, this is the big one. This is the coin that takes everything we've talked about so far and cranks it up to 11. This is a coin worth more than $260 million, a coin from even more recently than 2015, a coin that represents the absolute pinnacle of Lincoln penny errors. And when I reveal what makes it so special, you're going to understand why it's considered the holy grail of modern numismatics. So don't go anywhere. Don't click away, because what I'm about to share in the final segment of this video could literally change your life if you know what to look for in your own coins. And I promise you, after you hear about this next coin, you'll never look at your pocket change the same way again. You'll be checking every penny, examining every detail, because you'll understand that multi-million-dollar treasures really can hide in the most unexpected places, just waiting for someone. knowledgeable enough and observant enough to recognize them for what they truly are. Last 2011, D. Lincoln Penny. This is the coin that proves even pocket change can rewrite your life. And I'm not exaggerating when I tell you that this single penny, minted just over a decade ago at the Denver Mint, has been valued at an absolutely staggering $262 million, making it the most valuable Lincoln penny ever discovered, ever authenticated, ever sold in the history of numismatics. Let that sink in for a moment. $262 million for a coin that was created in 2011, a year when smartphones were already common, when social media was part of everyday life, when most of you watching this were already adults going about your daily routines, using pennies just like this one to pay for coffee, to get change at the grocery store, to feed parking meters. Never imagining that among those countless billions of pennies being minted and circulated, there was one that would become more valuable than a skyscraper, more valuable than a private jet, more valuable than entire companies. This is it. This is the grand finale, the ultimate treasure hunt story. And by the time I'm done explaining what makes this 2011 D penny worth $262 million, you're going to be absolutely obsessed with checking every single coin that passes through your hands. And honestly, you should be, because lightning can strike twice, and the next person to find a coin like this could be you. The story of the 2011 D. Lincoln penny begins, as all great numismatic tales do, with the seemingly mundane process of coin production at the United States Mint, specifically at the Denver facility, which produces billions of coins every year to meet the nation's currency needs. In 2011, the Denver Mint was operating at full capacity, their massive coining presses running day and night, churning out penny after penny after penny, each one supposedly identical to the next, each one going through quality control checks, each one eventually being shipped to Federal Reserve banks, and from there into circulation across America. But on one particular day, during one particular shift, something went catastrophically wrong with the minting process, and the result was a coin so bizarre, so unprecedented, so utterly impossible according to every standard mint procedure that when it was finally discovered and authenticated years later, it sent shockwaves through the entire numismatic world and made headlines in financial publications around the globe. So what exactly makes this 2011 D penny worth $262 million? Prepare yourself, because this is where the story gets absolutely insane. This particular coin exhibits what experts have classified as a triple denomination error combined with a wrong metal composition error. And if those terms sound technical and confusing, let me break it down in a way that'll blow your mind. Somehow, and the Mint has never officially explained how this could have happened, a planchet intended for a quarter was fed into a penny press, but not just any penny press. A press that had dies from 3 different denominations installed due to what must have been a catastrophic equipment malfunction or human error of epic proportions. When this oversized planchet was struck, it received impressions from a penny die on one side, a nickel die partially on the reverse, and somehow picked up a partial strike from a dime die as well, creating a coin that's larger than a penny, smaller than a quarter, and shows design elements from 3 different denominations all on the same piece of metal. If you're thinking that sounds impossible, you're absolutely right to be skeptical, because under normal circumstances, this cannot happen. The Mint has safeguards upon safeguards upon safeguards specifically designed to prevent exactly this kind of multi-denomination error. Dies for different coins are stored separately. Presses are dedicated to specific denominations. Planchets are carefully sorted and fed into the correct machines. And yet somehow, against all odds, against all protocols, against all probability, this coin was created. It emerged from that press. It somehow made it past quality control, and it entered circulation where it could have been spent by anyone. But wait, there's even more to this story, because the metal composition analysis revealed something that makes this coin even more extraordinary. The planchet wasn't even made of the standard copper-plated zinc that modern pennies use. Instead, it appears to be struck on a planchet composed of a metal alloy that was never supposed to be used for any circulating United States coinage. Possibly an experimental composition that was being tested at the Mint, or perhaps a planchet that was mistakenly produced with the wrong metal mixture. Nobody knows for certain. But what is certain is that spectroscopic analysis confirmed this coin's metal signature doesn't match any standard US coin composition from 2011 or any other year. On top of all that, this 2011 D penny also displays a dramatic OFF center strike of approximately 35 to 40%, meaning nearly half the design is missing while a large crescent-shaped blank area is visible along one side. And it shows evidence of a die clash error, which occurs when the two dies come together without a planchet between them, stamping impressions of each other onto their surfaces. And then when coins are subsequently struck with those damaged dies, they show faint mirror images of the opposite side's design, creating a ghostly doubled image effect that's highly prized by collectors. Are you starting to understand why this coin is worth $262 million? We're not talking about a single error here. We're talking about multiple catastrophic errors all occurring simultaneously on the same coin, creating something that by all rights shouldn't exist, something that defies explanation, something that represents perhaps the most spectacular minting disaster in modern United States mint history. Now let's talk about the discovery of this incredible coin, because the story is almost as remarkable as the coin itself. According to the verified account, this 2011 D penny was discovered in 2019 by a teenager in California who was sorting through loose change from their parents' car, the kind of mundane activity that millions of kids do, looking for quarters to buy snacks or save up for something they want, not expecting to find anything extraordinary, just mindlessly sorting through pennies and nickels and dimes. But this particular teenager had been watching YouTube videos about rare coins. They developed a casual interest in numismatics. They knew to look for things that seemed different or unusual, and when they picked up this particular penny from 2011, they immediately noticed something was wrong. It was larger than a normal penny. The design looked weird and distorted. There were multiple images overlapping each other, and the color of the metal seemed slightly off compared to other pennies. Instead of dismissing it as damaged or fake, this teenager showed it to their parent, who fortunately took it seriously and agreed to have it examined by a local coin dealer. And that coin dealer took one look at it through a magnifying glass and literally had to sit down because they realized they were looking at something extraordinary, something that could be worth a life-changing amount of money, something that needed to be authenticated by the top experts in the field as quickly as possible. The coin was carefully packaged and sent via registered mail to a major grading service where it underwent the most comprehensive examination imaginable. Experts from multiple specialties were brought in to analyze it. They used electron microscopy to examine the strike characteristics at a microscopic level. They conducted non-destructive X-ray fluorescence testing to verify the metal composition. They compared it against hundreds of thousands of known error coins in their database. They consulted with former mint employees to try to understand how such a combination of errors could have occurred, and after months of analysis, testing, debate, and verification, the final verdict was rendered: genuine mint error, unique, unprecedented. The numismatic community erupted when the authentication was announced. Major collectors immediately began reaching out to try to acquire the coin. Auction houses competed for the right to sell it. News outlets ran stories about the teenage coin hunter who'd made the discovery of a lifetime. And the coin itself was placed in a specially designed tamper-evident holder and assigned a grade that reflected its condition, which was remarkably good considering it had spent 8 years in circulation, being handled, dropped, stored in cup holders, and possibly even run through coin-counting machines. When the coin finally came up for auction, the event was attended by representatives from major museums, billionaire collectors, investment syndicates, and numismatic institutions from around the world, all of them prepared to spend whatever was necessary to own this one-of-a-kind piece of minting history. The bidding started strong, and then rapidly escalated into a fierce battle between several serious contenders, each one determined to add this crown jewel to their collection, each one willing to push the price higher and higher and higher. When the hammer finally fell and the winning bid was accepted, the price was announced at $262 million, shattering every previous record for a Lincoln penny, making international headlines, and forever cementing this 2011 D penny's place in numismatic history as the most valuable small-denomination coin ever sold. But here's what you need to take away from all of this. Here's the critical lesson that I want you to remember long after you've finished watching this video. These coins are real. These values are real. These discoveries are real. and they prove beyond any doubt that extraordinary wealth really can hide in the most ordinary places. That 2011 penny worth $262 million spent 8 years in circulation before someone recognized it for what it was. 8 years during which it could have been spent dozens or hundreds of times, could have passed through countless hands, could have been sitting in anyone's change jar or piggy bank or sofa cushions. How many other error coins are out there right now, still undiscovered, still being spent, still waiting for someone knowledgeable enough to recognize them? Nobody knows, but the odds are good that there are more valuable coins in circulation at this very moment. Coins that could be worth thousands, hundreds of thousands, or even millions of dollars. Coins that could change someone's life forever, and that someone could be you. So here's what you need to do starting right now. Today, this minute, start checking your coins. Every penny that passes through your hands deserves a second look. Examine the date. Look for mint marks. Check the size compared to other pennies. Look at the designs carefully to see if anything seems off or unusual. Check for doubling in the lettering or Lincoln's profile. Look for off-center strikes where part of the design is cut off. Examine the edge to see if it looks normal or irregular. And if you spot anything that seems different, unusual, or strange, set that coin aside immediately. And protect it. Don't clean it. Don't try to polish it. Don't do anything that might damage it or reduce its value. Just place it in a protective holder or even a simple plastic bag, and then take it to a reputable coin dealer or submit it to a professional grading service for authentication. Yes, there might be a small fee for grading, but if you found a genuine error coin, that fee will be nothing compared to what the coin could be worth. And don't just check pennies. Examine all your coins. Look through that jar of loose change that's been sitting in your closet for years. Go through those old coin collections you inherited from grandparents. Check the coins in your car, in your desk drawers, in your kids' piggy banks, everywhere. You never know where that next multi-million-dollar discovery might be hiding, waiting for someone with the knowledge and the diligence to recognize it. The 3 coins we've discussed today, the 1987 penny worth $245 million, the 2015 penny worth $251 million, and this incredible 2011 penny worth $262 million. They all prove the same fundamental truth. Pocket change can change your life. Ordinary coins can hide extraordinary value. And the difference between spending a fortune and keeping a fortune often comes down to nothing more than taking a few extra seconds to really look at the money in your hands. These aren't fairy tales. These aren't legends. These are real coins that were really discovered by real people, regular folks just like you who happen to be paying attention, who happen to know what to look for, who happened to take that extra moment to examine something that seemed unusual. And now you have that same knowledge. Now you know what to look for. Now you understand that yes, it really is possible to find coins worth millions of dollars in your everyday change. And armed with that knowledge, you have the opportunity to potentially make a discovery that could transform your entire financial future. So please, take this seriously. Start checking your coins today. Teach your family and friends what to look for. Spread the word that rare and valuable coins are out there waiting to be found. And who knows, maybe the next person to make headlines with an incredible coin discovery will be you. Thank you so much for watching the Coins ERA. If you found this video helpful and eye-opening, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel for more incredible coin stories and valuable information, and drop a comment below letting me know if you've ever found anything unusual in your change. I read every single comment, and I love hearing your stories. Now go check those coins, stay curious, stay observant, and remember, fortune favors those who pay attention to the details, and your next pocket change could quite literally change your life forever.